Yo, what's going on, guys? Shane from About Sound. In this video, we're going to be recreating an electronic bass used by both Whethan and Marshmello, and this is what it sounds like. Yeah, so you guys have probably recognized that from a lot of their newer tracks. It's a really awesome bass here. So if you guys like this sound, make sure you hit that like button. If you don't, hit that dislike button. I really just want to see how you guys stand here. So if you like it, hit that like button and make sure you guys click that subscribe button because we have weekly tutorials coming out all the time. Really sweet tutorials, by the way. Let's go ahead and jump right into this sound. Yeah, so Whethan and Marshmello are actually my favorite producers at the moment for like that kind of genre, not genre. We got future based, just kind of like that happy music. So I figured I'd make a sound or a tutorial on their kind of basses here. So we're actually going to be using all 4 oscillators here. So we can go ahead and turn those on. And fun little fact here, we're just going to drop the level of all of them so far because we're going to be modulating the level of all of them with LFO number 1. Just to start us off, we're going to turn our LFO 1 into this kind of ramp here and just kind of make it very slim down. And we're going to put on trigger and turn it to 1/8. Okay. So this is where we're going to start off by modulating our levels. We're going to dump it onto our sub level, make sure that's jumping up 100% onto the noise, and we're just going to make this going to about 20, somewhere around here, 25 maybe, and onto oscillator A's level and oscillator B. Now saws are going to be very prominent in the sound because we are actually going to be changing up the octaves between the 2 saw levels and then adding in a sub. You know, just by creating that formula, that nice little combination there, it creates a really nice thickened sound that is also accompanied by a higher end saw. It's really hard to explain, but once we start to get it further into the sound, you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about. Yeah, so the noise is really just there to thicken up the sound and then just to add in more empty space. Yeah, so we're going to turn on our sub onto the saw waveform, and we're just going to leave it there. So we're already set for our sub. Oscillator A, we're just going to turn on our sync. Now this is where we create our higher end for the sync, and we're just going to turn it to about 8% here. And when we put it at 8% here, we are left with a really flat harmonic note here. If I single this one out, it's basically like that, but I like being able to control the sync around, so it just makes it a little bit easier between just kind of change it around here. When we leave it about 3%, we get it another different nice harmonic sound, but I just leave it around 8%, which is really just turning it up 2 octaves. So back into the sound, we'll move into our oscillator B here. Oscillator B here, we're going to move to our basic shapes, and we're going to go ahead and choose or leave it there on the sine waveform. And I know you guys are probably thinking like, Shane, what are you doing when you turn up the voices, especially on a sine waveform? But guys, just hear me out. It does really thicken and widen the sound and create a lot more space. So anyways, we're just going to turn up the octave. And that way, once it collides with this saw waveform, it's not like on the same note, but it does leave some room. So really, we are filling note, we'll say C1 for example, C2 with the with octave B or oscillator B. What am I saying? Oscillator B, and then C3 with our oscillator A with the sync on. So we are filling like a whole 3 octaves on a piano roll. Anyways, what I was saying was we're going to turn up our voices up 6, and we're going to turn down this D tune. And that just really does increase the stereo width quite a bit there. Once again, it's really subtle, but it does create a really nice effect. Okay, so that's it for the oscillator section here. Actually, no, we could throw on a filter if we want. We are just going to filter the oscillator A, oscillator B, and the sub because those are the main outputs, and we'll leave the noise there because the noise is creating a nice high end. We'll turn the cutoff down to 100 Hertz, and then we can just go ahead and modulate this whatever we really feel for the cutoff. It depends on whatever sound you prefer. That sounds pretty good. And we can leave that resonance down to about 3%. The mix is going to be turned down as well because we don't want it that prominent. And right there we create our whole shape and the complete form for the sound. And that's really going to get us started here. So into the effects, we are just going to turn on our hyper and dimension to get us started. Hyper is just going to get turned down to about 25%. And then you guys already know the deal here with the size. Nothing too complex here. Low size, high mix, so we do not get that extra feedback. Ooh, that sounds gross. We're going to turn that down to 3%. So anyways, we're going to turn on some distortion. And the distortion is really going to create that clip that we hear in the original sounds. Oh yeah, it's really just boosting that lower end and crunching it up. And that's really what we are looking for in that sound. So the distortion really did its job with that. And then finally, we'll just turn on the compressor, turn on the gain, as well as you can turn on some reverb if you'd like. Finally, what I did here was I created a little down pitch here. So as I press the note, it would go dun 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 dun. That's with LFO2. We can turn on trigger, maybe 1/4. Here we could go LFO2, global, master tune. And now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to global, and we're going to select double click for typeable values on controls. So into the matrix, we're going to go ahead and click this, and we're going to type in 12 space ST, and that means 12 semitones. So we're going to go ahead and click enter. Make sure this isn't going back and forth. We're just going straight. Make sure this has an envelope. I accidentally put that on trigger. You could even mess around with it. And that's really just how we make that sound. I thought it was a really easy sound to make, but it's also really, really sweet. So if you guys like that sound, please hit that subscribe button. Click that like button because you already know we are pumping out the best tuts on YouTube. So anyways, without further ado, I'm Shane from Rockpilot Sound, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.